So, welcome back to the Queens of the Damned horror podcast. Just a quick warning for listeners, I am sick. And so that's why I'm probably going to sound a little weird. Might hear a little sniffling. I'm going to try not to do that as little as I can, but we'll see how it goes because I'm feeling like crap. So we are continuing our Halloween countdown. And this week, Nikki and I actually ended up creating a theme unintentionally. So.
And it wasn't Stephen King.
Yeah, which is amazing.
For once.
I'm actually going to talk about a show that's more so a recommendation rather than something I watch every Halloween. This show has been on, it's on its second season, and the second season started probably around a month ago, I want to say. Or I get more excited about it than I do about American Horror Story, which is really saying something because this season has been amazing, this new season. It is a sci-fi TV series, and it's an anthology like American Horror Story. So there you go, Nikki. There's another connection.
I just did jazz hands, you can't see that.
So the show I'm talking about is Channel Zero No End House. The first season was called Candle Cove. I did watch the first season of it, and it wasn't good. I'm sorry, sci-fi, I love you, but that first season was not good. And if you watched Candle Cove and you didn't want to watch season 2 because you didn't like Candle Cove, oh my god, like, don't do that, because No End House is absolutely incredible, and it's like Candle Cove didn't even exist. I actually wish Candle Cove didn't exist and this was the first season, because I'd rather people see this one than the one before it. I mean, it's entirely different. It still has the sci-fi feel, but it is just better in many different ways. It's artistic and it's aesthetically pleasing. It's got that psychological fear. It's perfect for this time of year. It's creepy and it keeps you engaged. And of course, it's about a haunted house. I don't want to tell everything about what the story's about or what the show is about, because I don't want to ruin it for everybody, because there's kind of a plot twist that happens near the beginning of the season that I don't want to give away. So it's about this group of college kids. And they hear about this haunted house at the end of a cul-de-sac. And when we see this haunted house, you can tell it does not belong where it's at. It is completely black. Like, there's no other color to it, and just completely black. And it's just sitting there. And the rumors about this house are extremely strange. So kids are saying that people can't make it past, I think it's room 4, the second to last room, and those who do get to the last room never come back. So, of course, they're all just, college kids are like, haha, so funny, like, let's go check out this haunted house and everything. And they get to the haunted house, or they get to No End House, which is what it's called, and just tons and tons and tons of people just around the house, coming out of the house. The people coming out of the house are looking sick, like they are trying to not throw up. People are coming out looking kind of like dazed and unbelieving of what they saw. So each of these rooms that these kids go into are entirely psychological, and it taps into unconscious and conscious fears. The group does make it to the final room. That's where I'm going to leave you, because we follow the group after they make it to the final room, and it gets really weird after that. The story changes entirely. This show utilizes real fears, real life horrors, and it turns it into a horror show. Each character is a fully developed character, and you can see them evolve or not evolve. And we see what happens to the ones who don't evolve. These characters are real people with real problems, and this house uses those real problems against them. And so it's something where you get connected with these characters, and you hate to see them dealing with what this house hands them. It makes it more real for the viewers. And of course, the fears are relatable because they're things that happen in real life. It's a similar concept of It. You know, the house uses your biggest fears against you. It knows exactly what it has to do to get to you, and to really, really hurt you inside. It's not, you know, it's not those, like, conscious fears, like, yeah, I'm scared of clowns. It's, you know, what is something that really hits you hard in your soul? It doesn't just scare you, but it hurts you. And that's what the house really goes for. So like I said, I've been watching this season since it started, and it really is perfect for Halloween. It is so damn unsettling. It's not directly scary. It's like an internal slow burn. You're just unsettled the entire time you watch it, and it's like something that gets at you unconsciously, and you don't really know why you're scared, but you are. It just gets to you that way. And you can watch it for free on Sci-Fi's website. We will provide the link for it, so if you guys want to watch it, you can go for it. I think they update with the episodes every time an episode comes out. Yeah, if you guys check it out, I want to know what you guys think, because I think it's a great show. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, don't check out Candle Cove. Don't do it, because I'm sure Candle Cove is on their website, but it was so bad. I don't know what was going on. The only good thing about it was the last episode. I have no idea. Have you heard of the Channel Zero TV series?
No, I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, it's like Sci-Fi's version of American Horror Story.
The only thing I watch on Sci-Fi is The Magician, so.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
I will have to try that out.
Yeah, it's really good. This new season is really good. Yeah, Candle Cove was about this it was a TV show that certain children watched called Candle Cove when they were kids, and the adults come back. They find out that this TV show is like suggesting children to kill people.
Oh, like everyone thinks so already? That, like, violent TV causes kids to be violent?
Yeah.
That kind of seemed like a social commentary to me.
But it's also, like, I don't understand what the hell was happening with this show, because there's also this creature that's, like, made of teeth, and it steals teeth.
It doesn't need teeth. It already has teeth.
I know. It's made of teeth, but it steals teeth.
What a greedy little bitch.
I know. I don't even remember what its point was. I think it's supposed to be like I don't know, like the guardian of Candle Cove or something. I have no clue. It's like they used this tooth child as like the advertisement of the show, and then you only saw him like 2 times, I think. And I still have no idea why he was there. But yeah, that season, thank God, nothing like this one. This one's just so fun and so good.
I'll have to check that out then.
Do you want to just jump into yours then, or?
I chose American Horror Story Season 1, and it's my favorite. And I haven't seen 6 or 7 yet, so don't tell me anything about it, because I'm poor and busy.
Oh, you haven't seen Cult?
And I did not see Roanoke either.
Oh, don't watch Roanoke.
I'm gonna watch it anyway. I watch every season. But I started watching this show about the year after it came out, back in 2012. And if you don't know what American Horror Story is, or you don't know kind of in depth what it's about, it's an anthology series like the one Miranda was talking about. So if you don't like one season, you can just watch the next one, although they are starting to tie in, so you are missing things as you get later on in the series if you don't watch all the way through. It is definitely a piece of social commentary, kind of developed by Ryan Murphy, who is the creator of Glee, and it creates a picture of uniquely American society by using our folklore, our horror literature, our dark history, and true crime. And it touches on some pretty relevant themes, although the themes differ from series to series. It also, this is what I love, is it talks about what we're afraid of, but it also implicates us in a fascination with doing terrible things. So I love how the audience is implied the whole time as well. For instance, I don't know if this is a good example, but something that comes to mind is the maid. Like, it's a haunted house that comes with a maid who's a ghost, and she appears as an old woman to women, but as a stereotypical young promiscuous girl to men. Now, I'm not sure if she does to all men.
From what we saw, I think she did. Or maybe not.
By the end, one of the male characters can see her as an old woman, and she says you're beginning to see things as they are. So I don't know. This is another good thing about American Horror Story is you can just speculate for hours about what some things meant. Plot-wise, so cool. I'll just give you a little bit of the plot. It's a typical haunted house story for the first season. This family, pretty rich family, mom, dad, and daughter, move from Boston to LA into this house they get for almost nothing. Well, not for almost nothing. For considerably less than it was supposed to be. Because of some violent history, of course. It's that trope. The outline of the plot is pretty tropey. It's your basic haunted house story based on Amityville Horror, basically. Some things start happening. There's ghosts in the house. The mom becomes pregnant with the Antichrist, like you do. And the ghosts in the house are after her baby, so they're trying to kill her. So, some things they use this is one of the coolest things for me, is that they use, like I said, real stuff in our society. So here are just some examples of the things I caught that are in season 1. So there's references to the Black Dahlia, Dennis Nielsen, who was the guy who killed all those nurses, the Manson murders, the Lindbergh baby kidnapping. And then as far as horror movies and literature go, Rosemary's Baby, The Omen, Amityville Horror, like I said. It touches on some urban legends. So that was everything I caught, but there's probably more in there. And I think that's awesome that they can take all these things from history and kind of interweave them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for something that's scary, you're going to the wrong place. It's not scary for the reasons you want it to be scary. If you're watching a horror movie, it's scary because of the realization of what people can do to each other. The monsters are a way to get the point across. So
I would disagree with saying it's not, like, conventionally scary. I would say that a lot of the seasons are. It just kind of depends on what season you're looking at. I would say Asylum is pretty conventionally scary. And I would say Murder House is as well. It's pretty gory and there are plenty of monsters in it. But that doesn't mean there aren't any underlying meanings with it as well. There's a lot of unconscious things going on in all of the seasons. But I would say that one of the reasons it is as popular, and this season was as popular, is because it is also conventionally scary. Why do you think it isn't?
Because when you humanize ghosts and monsters and give them a story, then they're not scary anymore. Unless you're talking about serial killers, someone who can't be humanized because they have no conscience. We're introduced to all these scary things, but then given all of this backstory, this really detailed backstory, and in pretty much every case, there's empathy involved from the audience, so I don't see it as conventionally scary. But I do see, there's a lot of horror movie stuff that goes on in it. Some people's complaints are that it's not conventionally scary.
That's interesting.
When people go looking for something like that, they're inevitably disappointed when they go to watch American Horror Story.
That's so interesting. That's the exact opposite than what I've heard, because it seems pretty popular. Most people watch American Horror Story or have seen seasons of it, and I would say the majority of people don't really care about horror with underlying meanings. I guess from my own personal experience, like artistic horror, people really are not into, the general population. And I would say American Horror Story is artistic, but it is also conventional. But I do have to say, though, that it is something that we have disagreed on before about humanizing monsters.
Is it?
Yes, because to me, that doesn't make them any less scary.
When was that?
Gosh, I thought we had this conversation about Michael Myers.
Yes, okay.
Because I don't have a problem with humanizing monsters. I like it when we humanize monsters, but to me, it doesn't make them any less scary because they're still just as powerful. And I think it differs from person to person.
Yeah, it might.
Because I know there are a lot of people who are on your side where when you humanize monsters, they're not as scary. But I would also say that the success of American Horror Story is rooted in its ability to convey its message through what society is kind of wanting from a horror show.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, it's actually using those things. It's like, okay, here you go. This is what you want, like sex and violence. But it's also like, Ryan Murphy will come out and say, yeah, this is about infidelity and this is about this. And, you know, like it's very carefully constructed. But I think it's funny because I wonder if you interviewed like a bunch of people, you know, why do you like American Horror Story? You maybe get a better sense of like, are they just blindly consuming the most gratuitous violence and sex they can? Or is there something else behind it in general? Yeah. That would be really interesting to
It would be really interesting. There you go. There's some original research for you.
Yeah. But that's more of a psychology thing, though.
Oh, God.
That's your field. I don't do APA. Such an interesting question, though. I don't know. What other things do we like about this?
I love the commentary on suicide.
I do, too. I think I know what you're going to say, but just go ahead and say it.
No, what do you think I'm going to say?
I wonder if it was the same thing I wanted to say, but just go ahead and say.
Their commentary on suicide is done really well. I think a lot of the times TV and movies have a way of conveying suicide. Yeah, just extremely harmful ways that either promote suicide or glorify it, or they turn into victim blaming. It's always one of the two. And I felt that American Horror Story did neither of the victim blaming or the glorification. And what it really did was it commented on what leads people to suicide, the pain that suicide causes, why it happens, and I think it offered a deeper understanding of it. But what were you gonna say?
I thought you were gonna say that you identified with Violet.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, I do. I mean, well, yeah. I did. Yeah, I did, for sure, but I guess I wasn't prepared to make it so personal, Nikki. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry. No, because that's what I was about to say for myself. But then I thought, the way you started your sentence, I thought you were going to say the same thing.
Oh.
So, and hey, just to clarify, not glorifying the relationship between Violet and Tate. That's not what I'm talking about. Don't do that. That's not healthy.
Right.
Everyone who does that is ignoring that she rejects him at the end and she's stuck in the same house with him forever. So that's some pretty strong lady balls right there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, guys, don't do it. It's not cool. Like, everyone thinks Evan Peters is adorable, but just don't. So
that was the only thing that I did struggle with that in that season was their relationship. I think it does kind of, it's a little bit better knowing that she does reject him in the end, but at the same time, it's kind of like they did glorify just abusive relationships a little too much for me, but...
Okay, we have to talk about there's a huge question I have, especially in the case of Tate. Was it the house?
That made him abusive?
No, that caused him to do what he did. Because it's hinted that the house did it.
Yeah.
But you're not given an answer.
So, from what it's been a while since I've seen the season, but from what I remember, didn't it all start out with the nurses that were murdered? No, I'm thinking of Roanoke, I think. What am I thinking of?
No. The nurses were in season 1, but it started out with Nora and Charles, the couple in the 20s. The doctor addicted to ether, abortion patients.
I kind of got the idea from it that it was just one of those situations where it's like just an unfortunate series of events. Like, one shitty thing happened, like one really messed up couple owned that house, and then they died, and then after that they just started, like, screwing people up. That was kind of how I took it. Mm-hmm. I didn't take it as, like, just, like, the house as an entity was making people evil, because a lot of the people who lived there were pretty bad when they got there.
Yeah, they were already.
So...
in, like, tumultuous relationships or, you know, doing bad things for private gain or, you know, stuff like that. With the ghosts in American Horror Story, just to clarify for people who don't know, they are corporeal. They can touch you. They can hurt you. They can appear to you whenever they would like. So they are very active players, very active human players in the whole thing. And it's a very crowded house. Yeah. So, that aside, I wonder if the tendency for things like that to happen escalated as more bad things happened in the house because of an accumulation of negative energy.
Yeah.
But I wonder, with Tate, I just can't figure it out. And I almost wonder if this was intended, because we all ask, why did you do it? You know, when things like that happen. Yeah. And we never get an answer. But I wonder with Tate, like, did his mom raise a bad egg? She wasn't the best mom. Was he born that way? Was it some combination of that? Was it the house? Was it all of that together? And I can't figure out if Tate is a true psychopath or sociopath.
So, a little tiny off subject, but it'll circle back. Have you heard of the show Adam Ruins Everything?
Yes, I love Adam Ruins Everything.
I love that show so much. Okay, but anyways,
he ruined orange juice for me.
Oh my god. He didn't ruin wine for you?
Oh no. Because I only buy cheap wine, so I don't I'm never in danger of buying too expensive of a bottle of wine. So
there you go. But anyways, he just recently had an episode, and on it he talks about conspiracy theories. And just something that stuck out to me about what you were saying is the fact that our brains are kind of hardwired to make these cognitive mistakes where random things happen and we always want an explanation. Our brains do not accept the fact that sometimes things happen and there's no valid explanation. It just happens. So I think that sometimes, like, we really, really, really want an explanation. We really want to know what happened when maybe nothing happened. I mean, a lot of the times these shooters don't really have a reason except for bullying, if I'm remembering correctly, or like something happened that made them mad. But usually it starts out from a place of like they're just a deeply angry person and they're not expressing it at all. So Tate's mom was really not the greatest person, not the greatest mom. So there's a possibility that just one day he just snapped, and oh my god. The anger just like that was so, I had no idea what was going on. It's like, oh my god.
She's gesticulating violently. Like, waking her.
And I just flipped my headphones into my face too. So, but like, it's possible that all of this just kind of built up inside of him and he just did it. And it's entirely possible that the house, with all of its negative energy, may have contributed to that adding up faster and him needing a release faster. And then that was just the result.
Yeah. I just, with my tiny human brain, can't reconcile Tate as the same person who puts on a gimp suit and rapes his girlfriend's mother.
Yeah.
With the same person who tries to save Violet from killing herself and is crying over it.
Yeah.
Because he truly doesn't want her to be stuck in that house forever. He wants her to live a life. How is that the same person?
Well, I mean, that's a thing. It's not like a psychologically normal thing. I'm not going to sit here and diagnose Tate, but it's entirely possible. I didn't want to believe it either, but I don't know. The more psychology classes I take, the more accepting I am of the fact that, like, sometimes you just have to accept that people do things that just amaze you. You know, like, there isn't always an explanation for the shit that people do. Sometimes there is, but, like, is there really an answer for it? I mean, there might be, like, some patterns, but is there really, like, a direct answer for everything? I don't think so. I think people are just a lot more complicated than we want to believe, and it's terrifying to know that somebody can look you in the face and say that you are everything to them, and then the next day, them be the complete opposite person. But to me, that's what makes Tate so terrifying, is that we don't know. Like, there's no rhyme or reason for the way that he is. He's just like that.
Yeah. I know. I'm, like, just lost in...
Sorry.
In thought. No, don't be sorry. It's so interesting. And, yeah. I don't know. This is, like, one of the things I'm gonna think about forever and just never have a solution to. And
yeah. That's why people are so terrifying. Like... We always want to know the answers to everything, but I don't know. I think it just stresses us out trying to find answers for everything.
Yeah, it does. But at the same time, it's like, I'm so fascinated with this because I don't have an answer for it. Mm-hmm. So, like, I want to know and I don't want to know. I want to just keep speculating.
Now I'm kind of curious if, like, there are any, psychological articles or, like, evaluations by professionals on Tate's character, because that's, like, a thing that psychologists do sometimes, apparently.
Yeah, and, like, circling back to what our second episode, can you diagnose someone if you haven't actually spoken to them? Even if the TV series has a couple scenes where he is in a therapy session. Mm-hmm. It's just so... And I don't trust the psychologist whatsoever in that show because he's a dirtbag. So...
It tends to be a recurring theme in the show that you can't trust psychologists, which... I get it. Like, it's kind of scary knowing that somebody's, like, sitting there and, like, they think psychologists know more about them than they know about themselves. And I think that that terrifies people, but that's not true at all. It's not. And... I know some psychologists think that's true, but, like, no. We know ourselves better than anybody, but it's, like, a common fear, apparently.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the second season and, like, the theme of it's based on a real place, real asylum that...
Yeah.
And in the footage at the end, when Sarah Paulson's character uncovers it, is almost frame for frame of the real news coverage.
Really?
So, yeah, you should watch it. There's a documentary on Netflix, and I cannot for the life of me think of what the name is, or what the name of the real asylum was, but you can find it with a quick Google search. I can see that, the theme of, like, not being able to trust psychologists, because that kind of goes across seasons, but then within Asylum, I think it's definitely just a picture of what the mental health system was like in the 60s. Just horrifying.
Yeah. No, that's true, for sure. But... I was actually, when I was talking about psychiatrists, I was actually talking about the most recent season, Cult,
I can't
which
wait to see
you haven't
that.
seen. Yeah, you'll know what I'm talking about when you watch it.
I was thinking about this Dr. Thredson in season 2.
Yeah, no, that one is definitely warranted. There's a lot of mental health warriors out there that are, like, bashing American Horror Story right now and saying that it's perpetuating fears of mental illness, and I mean, I really couldn't disagree more. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a common attack on horror that this genre is portraying people with mental illness in a harmful manner, but I disagree. I think people who don't know anything about the genre should not sit behind a computer and write an article about the genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it bothers
I think
me.
They assume there's nothing else to know, which is just dreadfully wrong. That thing about it creating more problems. No, it's commenting on what's already there.
Exactly.
It's a mirror. It's a mirror. It's not something that's supposed to hypnotize you into making you feel worse. It's supposed to wake you up.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you really need to watch this new season because you're gonna like it a lot. there's a lot of commentary on mental illness and our treatment of people with mental illness, which I'm really appreciating.
I suppose I should say it's also, like, really funny. Like, there's some well-placed comedy in it. Mm-hmm. If you're thinking it's all just darkness and doom. Like, it's, like, 75% darkness and doom and, like, 25% hilarious. So, and, like, very aware of itself hilarious. Mm-hmm. Like, when it's funny, it's supposed to be funny.
I think it's, like, peak American Horror Story, which kind of makes it sound like it goes downhill from there, but it doesn't really, I don't think.
No.
Coven was not my favorite.
I loved Coven. So campy.
I thought it was boring.
It didn't bore me.
Like, hardly anything happened. I feel like coming down from Asylum to Coven, they were completely different seasons.
They were.
Like, massively different.
Asylum was so dark.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't think it could get any darker.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
In fact, Lily Rabe's character of the nun possessed by the demon was the comic relief in that season.
Yeah.
That's how dark it was.
Yeah. So, I want to pose a question. We both picked haunted houses for a Halloween episode. Why are haunted houses so scary?
I was just reading in an article. Seriously, I looked up a bunch of articles on American Horror Story today because I'd never read any. And the one I was reading, and I better tell you who wrote it because I might get in trouble if I don't. Jeez, it's so long. It's called Who's Afraid of the Rubber Man? Mm-hmm. Perversions and Subversions of Sex and Class in American Horror Story by Tasha Taylor. And she says, and I think she's quoting someone else, that the reason haunted house stories are so popular, especially the Gothic genre, is because the house is supposed to be the safe place, and the Gothic genre subverts that safety.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple that way, but it also has a huge sexual metaphor to it, especially within American Horror Story, where the house is the womb. In the first episode, we see the doctor doing what? Telling Vivian that her womb is like a house. And literally, what goes wrong in the house goes wrong in the womb in American Horror Story. And it may seem like a stretch, but the more you think about it, the less you can actually contest it.
I wish I didn't even ask. Damn it.
I mean, I'm sorry I had an answer for it.
Goddamn.
Thanks, Tasha.
I feel like my head just exploded. Oh my, is that like a thing? Like that's been known for a while? Is that haunted houses are symbols for the womb? 'Cause that's interesting.
Yeah, sexual threat in the haunted house. Barbara Creed, don't know who she is, describes the womb as the means by which the living are inextricably linked to the abject. So, people are scared of vaginas, basically.
Why does everything come down to, like, the fear of a woman's body? God damn it, people.
It's like, at the same time, the womb is the house and the safe place, but it's also something yucky. To people. I don't know. I'm not scared of vaginas, so I couldn't tell you. But Freud has the same thing. I forget what he calls it, but people are scared of vaginas because that's where people came from.
Oh, and I haven't heard of that.
It's in his essay on the uncanny, which you should really read because it's about horror.
You know what? I fucking hate Freud. Like, I can't stand him. He was a creepy, sexist old guy. And I'm angry that he even existed.
But my professor gave us a lecture on Freud and the American perspective on Freud. And the thing is, we can't let go of his creepy sexual thing. But he also had, like, some really good ideas that you just can't refute. And the way it was explained to me, it was like, yep, pretty much that's it. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how, like, all psychology professors approach him. They're like, look.
He was problematic.
He said a lot of bad things, but we can't deny he said some good things.
Yeah.
Like, that's a common theme in psychology. It's like Alfred Adler who was it? Was it Adler or was it Jung? One of the guys that came after Freud was, like, really into, like, mystical stuff and, like, the occult.
That was Jung, I think. He was the dream guy, right?
Well, Freud was into dreams too. They were all into dreams. But
But Young was like the like Jungian archetypes. He was that kind of mystical guy.
Yeah, and a lot of professors are like, yeah, a lot of people hated him because, like, occult stuff, but also, like, he did these things. It's just a recurring theme in psychology.
Oh, I gotta throw something else into this womb thing I just glanced over. So, to further blow your mind.
Oh my god.
Remember Thaddeus?
No, refresh my memory.
The Infantata?
The one that lives downstairs?
Lindbergh baby? Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby. Womb.
Oh my god.
Frankenstein baby. House. I mean, it's crazy, but you can't deny it. It's there. Like, it's totally there.
Show. Like, this show, every time I watch an episode of it, I'm like, I can't even believe people like it because there's so much social commentary. Everybody gets so up in arms about social commentary, but this show is so popular.
I've heard just the criticism that it's not scary, and two, that it's gratuitously violent and sexual, and I was like, that's the point!
Yeah.
If you're not getting that, you're missing the whole point.
Well, and it's like, so many people have been so up in arms about this new season, about it being about the election. They're like, oh my god, can we move on from the election? Can we stop talking about this kind of stuff? I just want to watch something scary. It's like, you obviously have not been paying attention since the literal beginning of horror. Because every step of the way, horror has been a way for the people to comment on the society that they live in. I mean, that is what we're going to be doing with our Decades series, is exemplifying that, yes, that is what horror does. Even if people don't want to admit it, that's what it does. And it tells us a lot about the way people felt in that time period.
It's like, I just don't understand how people can be so blind to the fact that literature and film are vehicles for, I mean, they're not coming out of the ether for your entertainment. People made them. What do people write about? Things that affect them. Like, duh.
Right. Yeah. It's just beyond ridiculous. Yeah, it's been stupid. I just can't believe people are so upset about it. It's like, what do you expect? If it's literally called American Horror Story.
American.
Yeah, this election was a horror story. Come on, people. You need to watch it and tell me what you think.
Well, I don't have access to it right now.
I wish there was a way I could give you access to it.
I just basically have been having to wait until everything comes out on DVD, and I just haven't had time to watch Roanoke, so. I mean, there's more I can say on this, like, whole social commentary thing, but.
Oh my god, we could do a whole episode on American Horror Story.
It's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I don't know if we bumped Gerald's Game or not, but...
No, we didn't. That might have been exactly what I was going to recommend, but I don't remember.
Yeah, Gerald's Game, Stephen King adaptation on Netflix. You gotta see it. I mean, Gerald's Game was considered one of his books that couldn't be made into a movie, wasn't it?
I could see that. Yeah.
And they did it. They did it successfully. I really didn't know how they were going to do it successfully. That whole book is about a woman laying in a bed.
I mean, there are flashbacks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot happens in it, but, like, physically...
not much.
Like, yeah. Like, there isn't any actual movement. It's all psychological, so...
My only complaint, and this is a pure thing of, like, adaptation, it's not anyone's fault, but when I read it, I felt like I experienced almost in real time what she was going through, whereas I watched it, it was 2 hours and 15 minutes. The anxiety's not drawn out enough for me.
Okay.
In the film version, but that would be the only complaint I had.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't know how they would do that.
I mean, they couldn't. It's just a thing that I feel like it's just film versus novel. Longer. It takes a longer time to read a novel than it does to watch a film. Yeah. And so the anxiety you're experiencing with her is a little more prolonged in the novel.
Right. Also, when you said it was 2 hours, I didn't even realize it was 2 hours. That movie went by so fast.
I was surprised. I thought it was going to be super short because I was like, what are they going to do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. there were so many things about it that I had so many questions going into the movie with, like, how are they going to portray all of these different things? And they nailed everything. I feel like I even understood the book even more from watching the movie. So, I mean, that's pretty cool with Stephen King, because people usually don't do that great at his adaptations. So
yeah, I feel like, I think Paul was saying the other day, I feel like now Stephen King is getting the adaptations he finally deserves.
yeah, he is.
Or he's finally getting the adaptations that he's always deserved.
Oh, yeah. And the Mr. Mercedes TV show, God, I don't know if we ever mentioned that. But
I never watched it. But I need to read the books first, so.
Oh, dear. Yeah, please read the books first. But the first season is done, and dear God, is it good. I'm completely and totally blown away, probably even more than I was for it. And that's really saying something, because it's like exactly what you picture of these characters and these scenes put right onto the screen. It's just astounding. And the villain, or, yeah, bad guy, whatever, I think the actor that they picked was a new actor, and holy shit, you would never even guess that he was new. He did a fantastic job.
I always love it when they pick unknowns for stuff. I'm tired of seeing, like, no offense to her, but I'm tired of seeing Scarlett Johansson's face. Like,
yeah,
it just takes the magic away so much for me. I just, like, would rather see someone I've never seen before.
right.
It helps me get into the character, you know.
Well, there's only one character in this show that I knew from another show, and it's the guy that plays Mad Eye Moody.
Oh, yeah.
He's in it. But, like, you don't look at him and say, like, hey, that's Mad Eye Moody.
Yeah.
I only know that because my mom and I are huge Harry Potter nerds. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there to check out for Halloween. I think there's a lot of conventional stuff that people will watch every year, but I don't know. Sometimes, like, I want to try something new.
Yeah, that's true. I'm really excited for 1922.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that come out later this month?
I think so. It looks great. I'm excited about it. It's another Netflix one. They just announced, I think the guy that did Mr. Mercedes is going to make The Talisman into a movie.
Yeah, I saw that, but I haven't read The Talisman, so I need to
I haven't read it either, so it's going to be what I read next, probably, if I can get myself to read.
Yeah, read outside of all your reading.
Yeah, I have a ridiculous amount of reading this semester. It's killing me, man. Oh my god.
Me too.
Do we just want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right.
I've theoried myself out today.
I feel like I can't talk about anything anymore without talking about psychology. It's like my life at this point.
Yeah, I'm the same with English studies. It's crazy.
But it's nice, though, because we bring in so many different perspectives on everything.
We're so smart. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, hey, I have a good thing that is kind of horror related.
Okay.
I am co-teaching a class next semester on dystopian literature, and it's going to be The Handmaid's Tale, I Am Legend,
Oh my god.
some other stuff, The Walking Dead.
Oh
The
my
comic,
god.
The comic, not the show. So that's fun.
Can I take the class?
You can if you come to Western and you take English 206.
Son of a bitch. I wonder if they'll let me just, like, take one class over there. Because it would totally reverse transfer.
Yeah, you could probably do that.
But that's super exciting. That'll be really cool. I bet you'll have a good time doing it.
I really hate speaking in front of people, ironically, so I'm super nervous, but it's gonna be fun, so.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah, I'm doing
After
like
you
6
do it.
or 7 of the sessions, and it's an well, not like, I don't know if it's like it's a grad internship, I guess, so it counts towards my class credits, and then I only have to take 2 classes instead of 3, because I'm technically taking another class with that class. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
that's awesome.
Super fun. So yay, I'm doing something with horror, finally, kind of.
Woohoo! That's exciting. That'll be super cool. So Rachel might be back for the next episode.
Yay, for our Halloween episode, which will be
Yeah.
out after Halloween.
After Halloween.
So.
I don't know what the heck that's even going to be about. Halloween Hangover.
That's a great title. Yes. As you've noticed, we've been going impromptu without any sort of notes or scripts lately, so that'll probably change when Rachel gets back, when we have different topics and stuff. So.
Yeah, some sort of planned topics. It'll get a bit more structured again.
We can't be lazy anymore.
Damn it. It's like that middle time of the semester where everything is just like piling up.
Oh my god, I was supposed to write an outline for a paper tonight. Like I told myself I was going to. But honestly, I just think I'm going to read like 50 more pages of I Am Legend. Because I don't think it's in me.
Yeah.
I can't
Treat yourself. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Have a happy Halloween.
Yeah.